You can also make an S with 3 fingers to sort of clean your canvas or empty the layer. So I made it, pressed the plus now to make a new brush. And now we're gonna make the one and only, the rull brush. And I also have a favorite grain which I've used on many of the brushes, and it's the top left one now. Again. So the default looks like this before I started to do any adjustments. And again, putting the size limit to max. First thing to do. No reason not to. Speed sensitivity on opacity. Or pressure if you had a pressure sensitive pen. I found the Adonit Jot Touch 4 to be the best one, but and then the grain, so they scale it up. Again, usually going past 250%. Shape, follow stroke. We can see now how it behaves. A bit more ink there. Yeah, so that's pretty much. And if I do fast, you see there's less paint coming out. And this is how it looks. Big. And you can even see now that it's kind of repeating the grain. So I might, you see it here, the grain texture being repeated there. That's usually something you want to avoid, but you have to scale up your grain, but it's also not that often you use the brush this big, so I'm happy with this. I'm okay with that. Trying it different sizes, more or less paint. I constantly go and adjust the size of the brush and how much paint comes through it, so the 2 right handles there. It's very good that they're very accessible, and I use them all the time. So it's a really nice setup here in Procreate. The important things are very easy to reach. Getting some color in there just to see how it behaves when it's really small. And the speed sensitivity. Yeah, works okay. Just experiment with it, get to know it, try out different things. And we got to give it a name. So rull, of course. So we got 3 brushes now. Tapping the plus up in the top right corner. Getting a new empty brush here. Selecting our pencil tip. And we're gonna go for some grain here. Getting into the Procreate library here. And there's so much to choose from here. You know, you don't have to make your own presets, but it's good to know how to do that. But yeah, so I'm picking some sort of, I picked this one, kind of soft, but still some texture to it. Size limit up to max. And dynamics. This one I want to have a size sensitive to speed. So it's going to react size-wise. And I scale up the grain, even though it's very subtle, the grain. Still good to move it about a bit. And I set it to randomized in case of rotation. And I go down to 9% in case of spacing, because I probably won't need this as large as the other brushes. And you see here how it reacts to different speeds. So if you kind of do a quick snip at the end of your line, it will make this perfect point. And yeah, just trying out with different sizes and different amounts of paint. And it's hard not to doodle a little, make a little face here, see that it works to what it should be. So this is kind of like a comic. You can use this for painting, comic book outline, inking. And I really like even though you don't have a pressure sensitive pen, or if you don't have that, you can still get a very vivid line that has variety in size. It's not this one perfect stroke that doesn't change at all from beginning to end. Yeah, enough doodling for now. So I'd call this one done. And then we have, well, I need to give it a name first. It's always good to give things names, like even layers. I tend to forget it a bit, but it keeps things tidy. And if you post anything or save anything, you have the name on it, not just untitled brush. So we got 4 brushes now. We're going to do one last one. And again, select your shape from photos, and it's the rough, spotty one. And let's see if we can find some grain here. It's hard to choose, when you have all these this big awesome library. I'm gonna go for this one because I'm gonna make it a bit. It's very crisp, the gray now, so I put the size limit to max, and then I scale up the grain again. You see I repeat a lot of things that I do. Movement here, I give some take the movement down to about 50% to sort of smudge the grain. Gives a nice organic look to it. Take the spacing down, find this sort of the 12%, and I want to have a little jitter, or a bit let's see, I'll just take away this. I'm going to show you something. Yeah, it looks decent. Gives a nice feel to it here. But you see now it's kind of repeating. You see the pattern in the strokes there. So I want to avoid this, so I get the jitter a bit up. Not that many percent, and I'm trying it again. It still kind of repeats itself a little again. So now that's too much. I still want to see the strokes. But you can also go into shape here and scatter a little. This will do rotation scatter. There we go. That's a nice organic look right there. You still have this strands here, but it doesn't, you don't see them sort of cupping or like a pattern, like a tire mark. So not the size variance, but the speed sensitivity and opacity here. A follow stroke, I put this on so it's following the direction of the stroke. It has sort of this, a lot of the same as the roll brush, but it's a nice kind of rough brush here, and it looks kind of like a real paintbrush. It's good. It's a good wingman to the roll brush. It's a bit rougher and a bit more painty. Yeah, again, can't help but doodle a little just to try a brush out. Yeah, just making a small face there. So now giving this a name, rough brush. It's not very creative, but it's a name, understandable name. So here we go. This is our force of 5 here.